Modern cars are packed with technology. Some of that is good, some of that is bad. But the ones we're speaking about today are everything that goes into your driving characteristics. From touchscreen buttons instead of physical, right through to the driving assistance, whether that's automatic braking, lane assist, and a lot more. So the question is, are these technologies making us a better or a worse driver? So let's get into it. Advanced driver assistance systems are built in to make driving easier and safer. Now, what does Advanced Driver Assistance System stand for? Well, ADAS. You'll hear me say ADAS through this video an awful lot. Now, what's the importance of it? Well, the idea is to make driving safer and easier. And the way it does that is through a few different things. That could be lane assist, that could be automatic braking, that could be blind spot assist, and a few other features. Now, the idea is it's there to be a safety net. But the issue is, how long does it take before these safety nets actually start to wash away or fade away at our driving skills? Studies actually show that drivers with ADAS features start to become less vigilant. The great thing about these features are they are there to help you, but sometimes there's a certain point in which they aren't able to help you. And the big thing that comes along with that is that those drivers that become less vigilant do so because they think the car can handle any problem or issue that may arise. All of a sudden though, if that system doesn't work, they've actually found that those less vigilant drivers don't react quick enough. And well, then you get big bang. Then let's talk about touch screens. Now actually, the Defender is one of the better cars for this. Most things are controlled via a button, which makes it very easy to do when driving. The issue is when things come down to touch screens, it means that they take a lot more cognitive ability. You have to be able to be sat in a position where you can reach over to the screen, which you have to be able to do safely. And it also means that the majority of the time, you have to go through multiple different menus to get to where you want to be. The nice thing about physical cars or physical buttons is fundamentally, say you want to change the heating, well, you click down, you turn the knob, you've then turned the fans on, you click down, you turn the other knob, and you change the temperature. It's easy to do, it's exactly where you expect it to be, and actually when it comes to a user experience, that's far easier to do when driving than using a touchscreen. Realistically, they probably suggest that you stop every time you need to use the touchscreen, but that's fine. But imagine the windscreen's fogging up and you're driving on the motorway. You can't just stop to do so. Whereas in this, you just press a button and you're all done. Then, of course, you have full driver autonomy. Well, self-driving cars. Obviously, Tesla is the one that's mainly taking the lead there, and there's lots of things out there in jurisdictions that are stopping them from allowing it to fully work. There's things out there like Waymo taxis that are actually already on the road, but realistically, you then open up another kettle of fish. The issue is, one of those cars, primarily at the moment with Tesla, you have to be in the car and every so often touch the steering wheel to show that you're still paying attention, that you're still present, which is fine. But the issue is when you have scenarios like that, you're less likely to pay attention to the road and more likely to look at your phone and distract yourself. So fundamentally what you see happening is individuals falling asleep at the wheel, watching movies, and well, that can end badly, very badly. There are some stories of that leading to casualties, and well, realistically, it answers or begs the question, should autonomy ever be a thing? It would make sense if everything on the road was autonomous, but realistically, when you have individuals in control of other vehicles, there's always going to be that chance that someone makes a mistake. And well, how does autonomy rotate or reflect that and make sure that it reacts in a way that doesn't hurt people? But realistically, a lot of this technology is here to stay. And well, I think most of it is for the best. Obviously, a few have some problems, and I'll go over those towards the end of this video. But realistically, parking features and maneuvers have changed the way we do basic maneuvers in a vehicle, and I would agree it is for the best. So you start off with something like the Skoda Ralph. That's got parking sensors on the rear, and that's pretty much all you need, as long as you're not used to additional features. Then the 458, again, only parking sensors on the rear. And then you have the Defender, which takes that to a whole new level. That car has 360 surround cameras, blind spot assist. It has the ability to do an awful lot, and well, thankfully, it doesn't park itself. That would give me severe anxiety. It even has cameras on the front, rear, and lower of the vehicle, being a 4x4, so that it could spot any obstacles that might sit under the vehicle at any one time. So realistically, all those features are great, but maybe they're just slightly overkill. I've never thought that sensors alone were that bad. So it depends what you're used to, I guess. But an issue that can stem from this is individuals might have learnt using all those features, and yet if they jumped into something like this, their skills just truly wouldn't add up. This is why you see people doing a 300-point turn in a car park instead of just pulling in smoothly in one. Hello there. I'm here to talk about your car's extended warranty. No, I'm not. Actually, I'm just here to ask halfway through this video, if you are enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, follow the journey, and well, let's get back to the video. On top of this comes a certain type of market adoption. And well, this is another skill that's being lost, and well, I think it's only being left for the petrol heads specifically. And that's the transmission of the vehicle itself. Now, it was pretty normal back in the day that a cheap runabout car was always a manual because it was cheaper to produce. Then obviously technology developed. You saw the first flappy paddles that are derived from F1 and racing straight into a car, giving you that semi-automatic feel. And you also then always had automatic gearboxes. Now, for the longest time, I would have said the market disparity was in the US. Primarily everyone had an automatic. And in the UK, it was almost always manual. And one of the cool things about the UK is when you sit your driving test, if you sit a manual, you can drive both. If you sit an automatic, you cannot drive a manual, simply because you don't have that skill. But I think that now shows in vehicles. So obviously we look at the cars, we've got something from 2005, it was a manual. Then obviously you have something like a supercar from the 2010 eras, which was a double clutch automatic. And then in the Defender, you have kind of a ZF torque converter automatic. Now, all of them do an incredible thing, but you're finding more and more individuals want a car that's easy to drive, and therefore they're more likely to go auto. It used to be a fact that it was cheaper to get a manual because more were produced. Automatics then came with a premium. Now, if you went and tried to buy a BMW M2 nowadays, it actually costs more to get the manual. And it's simply because they're having to start a different production line or production cycle for those gearboxes, and less people are ordering them. So realistically, I see this one as being a loss in skill, but also a loss in pedigree and racing finesse and just drivability. So what am I trying to say in a roundabout way? Well, realistically, I think your car is making you a worse driver. As soon as you step away from a manual to an automatic, well, that's a skill that you're going to slowly forget. Don't get me wrong, it is like getting on a bicycle. I'm sure you'll get back to it. Another thing is obviously the parking sensors and all those different features within a vehicle which make your life easier, but they might actually make you rely less on your senses and your brain and more on the vehicle, becoming more reliant on that vehicle, and in a lot of the time becoming less vigilant of the area around you. And then, well, don't get me started on full autonomous driving. I think realistically, the only way that will ever work is if it was on its own closed loop or roads where all cars were autonomous and they all communicated together. As soon as you add in some of those odd variables being human beings, I don't think it'll ever work. And well, when someone is doing the driving for you, if you were sat in a passenger seat, you'd be on your phone and doing other things because your mind is available to do other things and you want distractions. Now, how can you marry the idea that you sit there doing nothing because your car's driving for yourself, but you also have to be attentive enough to jump in should you need to? You're basically taking your own car on a driving lesson. And well, I don't think that's the future, not realistically. So I think that's everything. Realistically, I am saying, yeah, your car is probably making you a less skilled driver, unless you're obviously one of those people that wants to be a purist and you want to keep on driving, I don't know, Ralph the Skoda, or maybe some of you lucky buggers that have a Cayman GT4 manual. And well, what am I saying is, realistically, I get it. I drive a 25 plate Defender and it's so easy. But for those that are petrol heads, you need something more engaging. You need something older. And that's why I think the sweet spot of cars for drivability is somewhere in the noughties and the 2010s. And I'm not talking about the Skoda. I'm talking about the likes of a 997 911, an Aston Martin V8 Vantage, and well, maybe a Ferrari 360. So that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this variation of content, and well, bye-bye.